Hey everybody, it's Darryll Stinson here. Welcome to another episode of the Seeding Greatness podcast. Listen, I'm coming to you recording this intro because I absolutely hated the real intro to this podcast because your boy was tired. I was coming off a busy, heavy travel schedule, and my friend Rick, the wealth coach, just happened to be in town. We had already spent hours and hours talking, and I found a way to squeeze an interview with him in very last minute. So thank God he's generous with his time, and we have that relationship to where, we'll move things around in order to, be with each other. So let me just introduce my friend to you more formally. Rick, the wealth coach, aka Rick Williams, is an author, a speaker, a coach, and a mogul in the entrepreneurial and financial space. He's a Chicago native who began his journey in real estate in 2016. He dominated so well that he created his own academy teaching the average person how to invest in real estate with little to no money. You hear that? Little to no money. He later shifted his focus to estate planning, which he teaches about in his first book, Control Everything, Own Nothing. Secrets of how the wealthy legally avoid taxes and protect their assets to leave legacies. So, my friends, man, you are going to listen to a wealth of wisdom. I want to encourage you and remind you that the purpose of this podcast is to have deeper conversations that sow seeds beneath trees that we know that will never sit under. It's about legacy. It's about timeless principles that last beyond our own existence. So be prepared to be entertained, to laugh, to be informed, to be educated, and to soak up from this well of wisdom. Rick the Wealth Coach. Check it out.
Yo, welcome to another episode of Seeding Greatness. You already know what it is, man. I only interview people who I want to listen to, who I'm honestly just letting you listen to a private conversation that I usually have with my friend, my mentor. And I'm going to introduce you to none other than my guy, Rick, the Wealth Coach. Man, how you doing, Rick?
I'm phenomenal, my brother. How are you?
Man, I'm more than okay, bro.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. If loving you is wrong,
come on now.
I just ain't gonna be right. That's how much I love you, Darryll. I'm just so glad to be with you, man. And anything you want to do, brother, I'm at your service.
I appreciate that, man. You know, I was thinking about, like, I'm honest, I'm real, I'm raw. God's forged me to be that way. That's it's part of my calling. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how else to be. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking, like, trying to recall when I first met you, and I don't remember. I don't remember how we first crossed paths, but here's what I know. Pay attention to people who make you pause and pay attention. Pay attention to the people who, like, time evaporates when you start talking to them and listening to them. There's usually because there's a calling, there's an anointing present, there's a well of wisdom for you to glean from, and I just heard that in my brother. And then, just to be honest, my man's as funny as all get out. He just had me cracking up. Like, I was watching a live stream or something. I think he was doing like a Bible study, or I don't know where the first time I heard you, where you actually was singing and joking and stuff. And I'm like, this man is like, he not, you know how you have thoughts in your head and you like, hold on, I ain't gonna say that. He's like, I'm saying everything. I'm saying everything. I don't care what you think. And I appreciated that freedom. And man,
but just think about that.
Yeah.
When Lazarus is dead, what did Jesus say? He said, roll a stone away. Mm-hmm. So if you want something that's dead to come alive, you don't leave no stones unturned. And that's the problem with human beings is that we see something, we don't do nothing about it. We need to say something, we won't speak our mind. So somebody ends up dying a slow death. And our job is to love each other and to speak love and truth. Speak the truth and love, I should say. And that means that say what you're thinking. You know, the world say what they thinking. You know, the world ain't got good sense. They talk crazy as hell every day. Every time about stuff, I'm like, they let the whole world know it's on their fickle mind. So the kingdom of God, we ought to be a city that's set upon a hill that cannot be hidden. And how in the world can you be sitting up on a hill with a closed mouth? You know, you have to speak. You got to speak your piece. You got to say it like it is and like a TIS is. So no stones unturned as we continue with this marvelous conversation, my brother. I didn't mean to cut you off so quick.
No, this was fun. We just talking, bro. And again, like, this is a part of me. I don't need the camera. I just want to have a convo. But to be of service to the audience, I do want to give them a little bit of your story, where you're from, how you got to where you got to today, so that they have context as to who you are. But I wanted them to know, like, you're my brother, you're my mentor, you're my friend. And man, I don't say this lightly. Like, y'all know I know some dope people. Man, he's one of the baddest coaches in the game, and I'll let that speak for itself. So let him in on a little bit of your story and how you got into the work you're doing today.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm Rick, the wealth coach, and what I do is I coach people on wealth, and I coach people on posterity.
Okay.
Not prosperity.
Okay.
So I'm a posterity coach.
What's the difference?
Okay. Well, prosperity means you got some money, and so you come and you live and you die and you had a good life, but it's over. Posterity means that you come and you leave an inheritance to your children's children. Money, wisdom, wealth. Money, wisdom, wealth, good health. All of the boxes you check off with Proverbs 13 and 22. Because some people think when you hit Proverbs 13 and 22, they think that you're talking about, hey, well, just leave them a good name. I'm like, if you broke, what's so good about your name? All right? I mean, miss me with that, okay? Proverbs 13 and 22 mean leave them with some money, leave them with some sense.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
See, when Solomon asked God for some sense, God gave him both. He gave him some sense and some money.
Mm-hmm.
He said because it comes with the package. It's a package deal.
Mm.
So anybody that's in the kingdom of God that really believes in the concepts of the kingdom of God, believe in having spiritual sense and material wealth. Both. Because they both go with the kingdom of God. They're not separate packages. So when you ask a person, hey, man, how fast you want your kids to run? They say, like Jesse Owens. They say, how strong you want to be? They say, I want to be strong like Mike Tyson or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Or how wise you want to be? I want to be like Dr. Benjamin Carson. Say, okay, so how much money you want to have? I don't know, just enough to get by. I'm like, well, if that ain't the most bipolar stuff I've ever heard. I'm like, well, that don't even make no sense, man. That don't even make common sense, let alone some spiritual stuff. I say, so something's disconnected. Somebody missing something someplace. I'm like, he just went totally from making a whole lot of sense to making no sense. So that leads me to believe that people are not taught posterity. They're taught prosperity. So Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is like a man that came and saw a treasure in a field. He said, so you know what? He said, I ain't taking no chances. I'm about a whole field. He said, that way, but it just might be some more treasure out here. He said, and if I buy the whole field, I can't miss the treasure. So prosperity ain't nothing but the little treasure, but the field is posterity. That's what I teach. I teach posterity. I teach if you teach posterity, you got to be prosperous, because prosperity ain't nothing but the child of posterity. And when I'm dealing with people, I want to deal with what's going on at the top. I don't talk to folks who can't bust a grape. You know, I'm having a conversation with you, baby. You better be able to put cheese on a Whopper. It ain't gonna last. All right, you dig what I'm saying? So that's the attitude of posterity. Is you go straight for the top. You know how it is. You walk in the room, everybody acting tough, right? Knock the biggest dude out. Everybody else just fall in line. That's what posterity is. So it's the idea of I'm concerned about way more than me. Matter of fact, the more that's why the last should be first and the first should be last. When you have the attitude that I'm concerned about way more than me, then you're automatically included. So people come in with the attitude that I'm concerned about me, and then they exclude themselves. I'm like, if you would be inclusive of people, then you would automatically be included in the posterity program, because you're concerned about more than I just took 20 kids to Hawaii, 10 kids and 10 grandkids. All right, between my wife and I, we got 10 kids and 10 grandkids. So you say, why you take 20 kids to Hawaii? That's posterity. I took them up into the mountain. We all sat down and talked. But let me back up, because you was asking me about how did all this start. In 2016, I was broke. I've been working.
Really?
Yeah, dead broke. Didn't have no money.
In 2016?
2016, I was dead broke. In 2015, in 2009, I was homeless and had $50 to my name. It was fresh out the penitentiary. Didn't have no money. So here I am, a homeless man, and I'm sitting but I'm a happy man because I'm a saved man. So everybody's like, hey man, where you gonna live? I say, I don't know. My father got houses all over the world. They're like, man, you got a rich daddy. I said, no, I ain't talking about him. He broke as hell. I'm talking about my heavenly father, not my natural father. I love the ground he walked over, but you talk about he couldn't put cheese on a junior Whopper. You dig what I'm saying? So instead of I'll just tell you like a TIS is. So I was happy though. I was happy, not happy about being broke, but I was happy on the inside. And because I'm happy on the inside, then the material stuff, I knew it all would come. I'm like, hey, I done made up my mind I'm going to do right. So I know as long as I do right, right is going to follow me. That's why I wrote the song, Surely Goodness and Mercy shall follow me all of my days. And when I think of his favor, I can't help but give him the praise because you came into my life and you took away all of the strife. And surely goodness and mercy, it shall follow me, and it shall follow me, follow me. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me. So I knew who my shadow was. And no matter where I went, I couldn't get away from goodness and mercy. I mean, when I turn around on my right side, I see mercy. When I look on this side, I see goodness. So I was a very happy person because I was accompanied, I should say, by goodness and mercy. It was my constant shadow, even in the hotel I was in. So I'm sitting in a little raggedy hotel, and I know why they call it a hotel because all the hoes are trying to come by and tell me what to do. So I'm sitting over here in this hotel. I'm just telling it like it is.
Come on, man. It's me. We good. Come on.
I'm sitting over here, and they like, boy, they trying to get me to trick off and trying to send me back to the joint. I'm like, that ain't about to happen. Don't bring no weed over here. If you come over here butt naked, all you're going to get is a bill and a breeze. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring me nothing over here. I'm just going to do right. I'm going to have a real simple life. I'm going to do right. And I know if I break my life down to very few selections about what I'm going to do, I'm going to be very prosperous because I'm just going to do right. And that's it. So I ain't got to spend a whole lot of time contemplating what I'm going to do. So I met a guy, I was sitting in Burger King, and this young brother came over, and he saw me reading the Bible. I said, what's happening, Doc? How you doing?
This is when you was homeless?
Homeless, yeah. I'm sitting in Burger King. I got $50 now, and you got to have a month to find some place to live, or they'll lock you back up.
You had no family, no nothing?
Nobody there, because I'm from Chicago. I'm from Indiana. So it is what it is. I wasn't tripping because I have no physical family there. But I was strapped. I had this big army. You just couldn't see them. You know what I mean?
Did that happen when you was locked up?
Yeah. No.
Like, did you always have?
I got locked up for old stuff. So by the time I got saved and started doing right, then I got locked up for old stuff because now I'm saved, ain't gonna crack nobody's head. So everybody started coming at you. You know how it is. You start wanting to do right. Everybody feel like you're a punk now because they know that you ain't. Because I was a hoodlum. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord changed my attitude about life, gave me a soft heart, a penetrable heart, and one that would not get no revenge on nobody under no circumstance.
Was it a turning point?
Yeah.
Like, was there a turning point where you did you have a moment of salvation at a church? Was you sick and tired of being sick and tired?
I got on my knees one day, and I was just sitting in my house because I knew better than being the low-down dog I was. I had left my wife. This is like 2000. I left my wife. I was just booty whipped around chasing the chicks all over the place and stuff, living really a raggedy life. Everything I was trying to do, God was blowing on it because I knew better. So I just got on my knees one day and said, it's around 1999, something like that, and I said, enough is enough. I said, hey Lord, you know what you want me to do? He said, all right. He said, just do right. I said, amen. So once you start doing right, what happened? All kind of disruptions. As soon as you make up your mind you're gonna do something, and if you're not going through some hell doing right, then it's typically because you're doing wrong. So people think that the hell they're going through is because they're doing wrong. I'm like, no, the hell you're going through is because you're doing right.
Right.
Okay? So don't be dismayed, whatever betides you, because God is looking out for you. So I ended up being in Indianapolis and having to deal with not knowing anybody, physically knowing anybody. But again, I had an army with me that was strapped. You just couldn't see them. See, I live my life from the future. I don't live my life from the past.
Okay.
I didn't say I live my life for my future. I said I live my life from my future.
Okay.
That means I look into the future and decide what I want to see. And I say, do that line up with what God wants? And he's like, really, I want a whole lot more than that, but I'll settle for that. I'm like, oh, he's like, you can be as ambitious as you want to be with me because I'm from everlasting to everlasting. So he says, so whatever you want, look up here for it. And the reason that it's good to build from your future is because it's the unseen. So when you build from the unseen, can't nobody interrupt it.
Come on, bro. Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
When you build from the unseen, can't nobody interrupt your party because they can't see it. So when you build it from the unseen, everybody who you don't want in your party, they can't come because they ain't invited.
But can I be honest? Like, one of the challenges, and I've done that time and time again, but one of the challenges I have in doing it is just, it seems lonely to not share it, to not allow other people to see it, to just know what I'm building in my own mind and spirit. It feels like a lonely walk.
Okay, so that's because you haven't invited the people that you want. See, that's only a lonely walk if you choose to make it that way. See, I said, look into your future and live from your future. That means you see what you want, right? And everything you seeing, God wants you to have plenty of everything, because God is abundant. You know, so that's His idea. Abundance is His idea. You dig what I'm saying? Not our idea; it's just an idea we just agreeing with. Why? Because He said, "I came that you might have life, and that you might have it what?
More abundantly.
More abundantly." So that's God's idea. So when you have an abundant life, you're just agreeing with what God's idea is anyway. So when you look into the future, you see what it is that you want, that God already said He wants for you. And you're like, okay, great. Well, who do I want to take on this journey? So that's how you get over the loneliness, because you're like, okay, so who else do I see? Then everybody started popping up that you see. That's why when I talk to a person, they're like, man, I'm the sharpest knife in the drawer around here. Ain't nobody got no sense but me. I said, so you don't like your crowd, huh? They're like, no. I said, well, you thought them all up. They said, no, they just all showed up. I said, no, they didn't. Right, take some responsibility for what pops up in your life.
Yeah.
Why are we sitting right here right now? Because we down here handling major business. I'm not even one of my major friends, a multimillionaire buddy of mine. Not that the multimillionaire stuff is so important, but I'm just saying we down here handling major business. All right. I'm talking to a friend of mine who's got a majorly good mind, a wonderful young man who, first time I ever met him, he invited me and my wife to his house to spend the night. I didn't even know him. You know, how many people you meet like that these days? Right. So that's why I'm even here. And then we meet this wonderful gentleman, John, who has the studio here that's invited us in here. And he's treating us like angels, you know, because we wear how you entertain strangers, because some have entertained angels, they're by unawares. So whatever was happening in his life, after the day is going to multiply 1,000 to 1,000,000 times over. Whatever's happening, it's not maybe kind of sort of going to happen. It's going to happen. All right.
So let me go back, bro. So you're homeless. I get it. You got an army of angels around you. You got an unseen family with you, but you also have no physical family. You got $50 to your name. Like, and you obviously just come out of like the system, and I don't know what that experience was like for you, but it seems like a drastic leap to go from that to where you are today.
Well, that's 2009.
Right.
So going back, so you can't live 2 days at a time, right? All right, so why don't you make the most out of the day? You're only going to get one, right? So I was like, every 24 hours of my life is going to be pure heaven. Why? Because I'm the one to make the shot. I'm the one to call the shots. All right. So I'm like, I call the shots over.
You just had your mind made up like that from being homeless, or did you read a book? Did you have a mentor?
No, the Bible.
You was just reading the word.
I was sitting in Burger King reading the Bible when this brother came up and I said, "How you doing, brother?" He said, "I'm doing good." I said, "What's your name?" He said, "My name is Jerome." I said, "My name is Rick." He said, "Where you from?" I said, "I'm from Chicago." He said, "I knew you wasn't from Indianapolis." I said, "Why you say that?" He said, "Because you spoke to me." I said, "Is it that bad? Folks around here don't talk to each other?" I said, "That sound Mike Tyson would say ludicrous." People don't talk to each other. That's ludicrous. All right. So he said, "Man, he said, how you doing?" I said, "Man," I said, "What you doing?" He said, "Man, when I came here, I was homeless, man." He said, "Now I'm a garbage man. I got a good job." I said, "That's great, man. I'm glad to hear that." He said, "What about you?" I said, "I live across the street at a hotel." I said, and you know, I got about $50 to my name, in about a month to figure out where I'm going to be living. But I said, I know God got something. It's all good, and I really meant it. It wasn't like I was trying to pump myself up to believe it. I really believe in reality. And reality is what you can't see. All right, that's why I have so much progress in life, because all my plans are uninterruptible, because they all in the unseen. So the only person that can come up there is who I invite. So in my mind, I was like, God already got a place for me to live. That's what I saw. In my mind, I'm like, God already got people for me to meet. That's what I saw. So what happened? Jerome shows up. Why? Because he was already in my head. I didn't know it was him. You know, so what does he do? He says, he reaches in his pocket and give me a $50 bill. All right. I'm like, what? You know, gave me a $50 bill. He wasn't no sissy either. Right? He wasn't doing nothing sneaky and nothing corrupt. Did just reach in his pocket and pulled it. I'm sorry, but this is my pocket change now that I just pull off for the homeless everywhere I go. I'm sorry. Can we do a 50-second promotion for the homeless? All right. So, y'all better laugh, man. I got $100 bills for lunch now. I don't get none. If it ain't 100, I don't even give it away. So I remember what he did for me, and that's why I have this attitude now that I got, because he didn't have to give me no money. He gave me a $50 bill, and it was so nice of him. And he said, man, do you need anything else? I said, man. He said, can I bring a bike by your room? I said, a bike? Yeah, that sound like a Benz. You know, I said, it's much better than walking around. So he brought me a bike, so I had a bike to ride around. So then I just started going to church. A couple of churches I had found out about. Matter of fact, one guy that came to see me in the penitentiary, he was going to church in Indianapolis, and I really liked this dude because he was really sharp when he came in, because I was wearing the same suit for a year and a half, so his suit looked much nicer than mine. That's a laughing moment. Everybody, we got some laughing music around here.
This is a serious story. It's because you've been through it. That's what it is. You homeless right now. We getting ready to cry. We talking about everybody laughing about to cry. My man's homeless. He wearing the same suit for a year and a half.
Of course, because you got to wear the same clothes. So this brother came into the reentry, and he was so sharp, so clean. His name was Garland, and he was sharp as a tack. I was like, boy, you clean the boy to hell. And he was like, yeah, man. He gave me his card. So now I got two friends, Garland and Jerome. All right. So I went to so I called Garland phone. He didn't answer it. So he didn't answer the phone. So I said, because they gave me his card. You know, he said, man, if you need anything, man, he said, I just like you, man. If you need anything, you let me know. Because he came to this thing called reentry.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to be in it for 30 days. But I had so much favor with the people, they don't let me go for 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was singing at church and stuff, and the praise team. And the lady was crying when I left the penitentiary. The lady who run it, she was like, her name is Wendy Knight. She said, we gonna really miss you. I said, well, no offense, Wendy. She said, what's that? I said, but I ain't gonna miss you at all. Don't take it personal. I ain't crying with you, baby. All right. So, she said, y'all say you sing so nice. I was like, I ain't gonna miss you at all. So I called. so I called Garland from the hotel room, and so Jerome had set me up. I got 50 extra bucks now. I got 4 weeks to be figured out where I'm gonna live. So I called Garland. He didn't answer the phone. So when he answered the phone, his answering machine answered. So I said, 'tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to take him in his word, just to rest upon his promise. I said, Garland, this brother Ricky, man, I love you, man. I just want to let you know that I'm actually out of the penitentiary, man. I don't know where I'm going to go to church. You got an idea for me? So he called me back crying. Hey, man, don't be doing me like that. How you doing, brother Rick? I say, I'm doing good, man. How you doing? He say, can you come to church with me Sunday? So I went to his church and started going to church with him. Then he said, you can come live in my house, man. So I had a place to live. But Garland was real old and real grumpy. He was a nice guy, but he was still a Grinch. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. So he was a saved Grinch. You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. So he was mean. He was a nice guy, but he was still mean. All right, because he really wanted nobody else's crib. So he was making it hard for me. Like I was just telling Brother John, I had to use the bag, had to go to the washroom in the middle of the night. I had to go past Garland's room to go to the washroom. So you try to walk in there without waking him up, and everything went creak, creak, creak. And then he wake up, the Grinch wake up, and he fully green, you hear me? Like some collard greens, you know what I'm talking about? The Grinch. He wake up, what you doing, trying to use the washroom? I'm like, yeah. Either that or sleep all night with a full bladder. So that was not fun, right? So eventually I told Jerome, I said, man, it's tough over here, man. He said, you can come live with me, Rick. I said, straight up. He said, yeah. I said, well, I don't really have no money now, Jerome. He said, I know that. He said, I was paying my rent already. I said, yeah. He said, so come over here. He said, just go to school and get your degree. I said, straight up, because I got a GED in the penitentiary. I had no GED because I didn't go to school in high school. I thought it was for suckers because I was like, these dudes are slow. These teachers are broke. Why in the world would I be sitting up here going to school paying attention to this broke teacher? Common sense tell me it's some money someplace else because it ain't up in here. So I'm 40-some years old before I got a GED. So I went to school, and Jerome treated me like Fort Knox Gold. I graduated from school and got a business degree. And because of Jerome, who in my phone is still his name when it comes up, it says Jerome, my hero. So I take him out when I see him, anytime he'll let me, I take him out, take him to dinner and just smack him with $1,000 every time I see him. I say, let me just smack you with this, bro. You know, he's like, man, if you're gonna pimp slap me, at least pimp slap me with a G. I'm like, you got it, because he's an angel, man. He's an angel. Wow. He treated a brother like I ain't treated me like Fort Knox Gold, man. And then I met my beautiful wife, and I told her I was broke. I mean, she was gonna find out anyway. So I'm like, I said, well, like I was gonna be able to keep a secret long. I met her at church. We at church. She's singing in the choir. She looking all glorious. Look at how beautiful singing the choir. So I told her, I said, I came in homeless, baby. I came in from the joint. She was very unjudgmental, extremely kind, very unjudgmental. And so I started working in a warehouse, and she would take my little check. You know, every time I got my check, she would take it. I say, you can't take my check. She was like, well, what do you mean? But that check is so little, you need a magnifying glass to see it. I'm like, but baby, I'm a recovering player. All right, I need some. I don't care if it's $100 and 100 singles. I just got to have something in the pocket over here, girl. It's an emotional thing. She said, man, give me that little money.
You had a whole story around that.
So she legally robbing me every week because it's legal if it's your wife and you got to pay bills, right? I couldn't call the police or nothing. I wanted to. I'm like, she just taking my check. I just wake up and I look over there where it was. I'm like, you can't do that. She's like, hey, so I can't. I say, all right, it is what it is. So I'm working in a warehouse. I'm making $10 an hour. And I said, so they said, you want to work some overtime? I said, for sure. How much I get? They said, you get $16. I say, what? You say $16 an hour? They say, you get $16. I say, word to the mother. Drop it like it's hizzy. Let's go. $16 an hour. That's time and a half. What I got to work? They say New Year's. I say I'm in. They say Christmas. I said I'm in. They say Thanksgiving. I said thank you, Jesus. Let's go. All right. And so they said, hey Rick, we heard you can sing too. I said sing a little bit. They said no, we heard you sing a lot. I said so what y'all want me to do? They said can you sing the national anthem for the whole plant? I said, yeah, I guess I can do that. So I came on up and sang the national anthem, right? They stopped everybody left work, all the dignitaries there, they all come up to the place. And I'm like, oh, say, can you see? And we get done, right? And everybody give me high fives and stuff. Man, you're a superstar. What you doing working in a warehouse, bro? My little section over there, they all happy giving me mad ups and all this sort of thing. I said, man, I'm part of the penal system. I don't trust these cats. I said, they'll fire you any minute, man. They just do what they want to do. I said, don't y'all get all excited about that. They're like, yeah, but you're a celebrity, man. It ain't going to never happen to you. So they called me on Saturday, and they finished the rest of that song. Oh, say, can you see your black butt out of here? The Marks fired me, man. They fired me on Saturday on my off day, like Craig on Friday.
Why they fire you?
For nothing. They said we looked up everybody had a record, man. You got to go. Like, Negro, you knew that before. You know that before I got here. So what kind of? I say, well, tell me the real reason. No real reason. Now, I mean, I was a good dude. I was a good slave. It was dark when I got there. It was dark when I left. Yeah, it took 3 weeks to get the dust out of my chest. By the time I got through messing with them doggone warehouses, I was faithful over a little. So I got to the crib, and at first I was mad. I was angry at first until I found out what the word fire really means. Are you familiar with the origin of the word fire?
I'm not.
Okay, so fire, when the Europeans first came to America, they had black and white slaves. So after 7 years, they let the white slaves go. They were called indentured servants because America was written based on the Constitution. That was written based on the Bible. So except they just weren't including black folk. And it was a good Constitution. They included us. It would have been great, okay? But the wording was really marvelous, though, which leads up to all the stuff I teach now about common law. But the wording was really marvelous. And so you couldn't be a slave past 7 years because that was a year jubilee. You had to be set free. So what the white slaves would do after 7 years is they would go out in the middle of the forest and burn up the papers that used to have them as a slave. They fired themselves. So the word fire really meant a promotion. So when I got home and I thought about it, I'm like, oh, they just promoted me. So then I got to thinking, well, if they promoted me, it must not have been the devil. Must have been God. So I'm like, oh, so God just fired me. I say, watch out now. I say something good got to be happening right now. See, because what people don't understand, especially religious people who ain't really kingdom minded, they always thinking that you just automatically got something coming. But they don't understand that every time something amazing about to happen, the way it happens is through a demotion, not a promotion. It always happens that way. Well, do I need to call some witnesses to the stand? Let me call Joseph. I'm glad you asked. All right.
Come on. Call him to the stand. Call him to the stand.
Hey, Brother Joseph, how did you get promoted? I got demoted. How did you get demoted? Well, I had some brothers, they just didn't really appreciate me. So what they do, they slung me into a pit. So what happened after that? It promoted me to Egypt. Why you say promoted me? Because I started working for a Fortune 500 company. Like, oh, straight up, yeah. What was the dude's name who ran? His name was Potiphar. Oh, what happened? He started coming up because I'm an economist. And when I went to this place, I started to teach him about the economy through my dreams. And he started, how do we know that? We never read that, Joseph. We know that because his company blew up because you're a visionary. That's how we know that. All right. So just take my word for it. I'm Joseph. Can I testify? You want to call me to the testimony stand? Yes, sir, Joseph. Keep testifying, brother. All right. So what was the problem then? If y'all was blowing up, his wife was a hoe. So the problem was his wife was a who? She was a hoe. Oh, you can't say that, Brother Ricky. You're saved. But whore sounds better. I just took the R off. You dig what I'm saying? Bible talk a lot about hoes. Okay? All right. Don't be sitting around there acting brand new. Okay. His wife it was Christmas in July. Ho, ho, ho. You hear me? And the hoe was trying to break Joseph off. And Joseph, so what happened, Joe? So I told her, oh, hell no. And I said, she said, give me something, Joseph. He's like, hell no, I got to go. So I left my coat inside the joint, and she used it for evidence. You hear me? And they'll take my coat and use it for evidence. So my man fired me. He know I didn't really mess with his wife. You know that. You know, how do we know that, Joe? Because he would have killed me and castrated me. That's what he would have done. He did. If I had really been tricking off with his wife, he know better. He said, but I'm married to a hoe, so I'm gonna let you go. All right. So he gets rid of. So he threw old Brother Joe in the joint. What happened? Brother Joe get in the joint and get what? Promoted again. Why? So what happened? Because the butler and the baker comes to the joint and he tell them both about a dream. And next thing you know, the butler goes back to the crib and tell Pharaoh 2 years later, I just met the coldest cat in the world. He's an economist. All right, and you having nightmares over here. You need to holler at him. So he can bring Joseph in, dress him, take him up out them jail clothes, put him on a brand new Brooks Brothers suit. Joe come in and start hollering at everybody. He said, I'll tell you all about your dream. He said, it's going to be 7 years of famine, 7 years of plenty. If I was you, I'd hire somebody who got some sense. Pharaoh said, you got more sense than anybody ever met. Joe ended up being what? The Prince of Egypt. All because of what? He got fired. So what all of us need to understand is that you can't shoot an arrow unless you pull it back.
Yep.
Further you pull it back, the further the trajectory of it when you shoot it.
Yep.
And if you got spiritual eyeballs and you live from the future and you won't let nobody else in your party, you'll see yourself all over the place and it won't be long before you catch up with it. But the way there is down. And the reason the way there is down is because you got to have some character. So you'll be able to stand your own success. So God is going to pimp.
So you got demoted, and then what promotion did that lead to?
So you can really keep up with the story, brother. After that long tirade about Joseph, and
it's all entangled. It's all connected.
No, you're amazing. Isn't he amazing, John? As a man, you got skills.
Thanks, bro.
Most people would be like Olivia the slave, lost and turned up. I need to holler at my brother. All right, he's an amazing interviewer. He got skills like that with a Z. So, all right, let's get back on track. So my promotion was that a guy came. I started doing stage plays after I was doing a stage play after they fired me. So the play is called The Hustler. All right, so I wrote it and produced it. It's got 30 actors or so in it, and we're doing the next.
You just started. How you started doing stage plays?
Okay, all right. So let me back the thing up. All right, let me back that thing up. She's a big bad woman, won't you? Back that thing. Let me back that thing up. All right. So when I first met my wife, I'd already written a play. And so we put it on because my wife is a genius actress and singer.
Why did you write a play, bro?
And I wrote a play because I love the Bible.
Okay.
And I know how to take Bible stories and make them urban. So I created a ministry called Urban Bible Theater.
Oh, okay.
So what we doing? So I'd already created a play called The Hustler. We was already doing it before I was still working at warehouse.
You already knew how to write plays?
Oh, I've been writing since I was a little boy. The words is my gift without even having to think. First time I wrote a story was about 9 years old, and I can recall at least. I was about 9 years old, and a teacher, she gave us these words. They put them in a story. So I was throwing about 5 minutes because it's just innate.
Yeah.
I could just see stuff in my head. It's nothing to brag about. It's just a gift.
I get it.
So she got mad at me, and she called me up to the front and said, "Who wrote this?" And I'm like, "What you mean, who wrote it?" She said, "Who wrote the story?" I said, "What do you mean, who wrote the story? You just gave us the words a few minutes ago." She said, "I know you, Rick. All right." She said, "You do your work in advance." That was true. Most of the time I was bored because I was kind of a prodigy. So I said, "But I didn't do this work in advance. You just gave us the words. Well, I'm supposed to anticipate the words you're going to get." I'm like, what's with this bizarre? What's up with this conspiracy theory? What you want? So she was like, "You had your parents write this and bring it up here and give it to me so you can think. In other words, ain't no Negroes this smart." All right? I was like, how dare you? Such insults. Never thought about it, until later in life. She happened to be a white teacher. So I never attributed it when I was a kid to her acting like we just ain't that smart. That's really what it was. But I didn't even think about it because I was only 9 years old. You did.
Right.
So it never crossed my mind. So I've been writing stories since I was a little kid. And
so you always had this gift of writing stories and the stage play. Did you have more plays that you wrote?
So the one that I'm writing right now is Jezebel. So that's a new one. That's the next one that's going to come out. So it's the story of everything that's taking place in this era that we're in right now, with dudes acting like chicks and chicks acting like dudes. So and a demon in it, and the darkness of it, and the danger of it, and the chaos in it, and the witchcraft in it. But it's going to be just funny, just like me and you having laughing and stuff now. But it ain't, my plays are fun, but they're not foolishness.
Got you.
It's fun that a little kids can come out, 80-year-old can watch. So this young man, it came by. So the story of The Hustler is about Jacob and Esau. So I played Jacob. So I played the role of Jacob in it, and how he tricked Esau. How he got him out his birthright and stuff. And I didn't have to do a whole lot of acting.
Gotta remember, huh?
Just having flashbacks. Because when I was 12, 13 years old, I used to get on the back of the bus and play three-card money. That's how I made a living. So I used to get on the back of the bus, and everybody get on the back of the bus. And I get on the bus and say, y'all gathering around without those ugly frowns and watch me skin it down. It's the coldest game that ever hit this side of town. They call me Johnny Be Good. I'm just passing through your neighborhood. So sit back, relax, and screw your wig on tight, and you can be the first one to say you saw it right here on CTA Sports. How about you over there, hometown? Did you see it that time? I'm talking about just topping this old ball of mine. So I learned how to do this.
The whole thing, bro.
I got trained like that. I was trained like a professional. I was like a professional hustler. So by the time I was 13, because I grew up in a house and my brother was a pimp. My brother I really looked up to, he was a pimp. Had holes in my house. I ain't talking about no story. Like I'm talking about literally in a house. Both of his sons are dead. Both of my nephews are dead.
Wow.
Yeah, both of them got shot down the street. I've been tied up in my own crib with duct tape. So we ain't, it is what it is, But that's why I know the salvation is so real. That's why I know God is so real. That's why I know Jesus is so real, because he just to preserve my life.
Right.
That he has. And I got so much joy. And peace every day, not fake joy. Not nothing that needs to be like somebody got to come around me, make me feel good. I feel good because I got out the bed. That's why I don't drink, smoke, get high, or chase booty. That was above. All right. Because I got real, and it makes you a lot of money as a man. Because those are the reasons why men ain't got no money. Men particularly. That's the reason why they ain't got no money. Because if they can get past the drugs, if they can get past the dishonesty and all that sort of a thing, and some chick will pop them off. If they can't get past all of that. So that's why when I talk to all my young brothers, I let them know if you can leave them the drugs, the dishonesty alone, get this Bible up in your system, and stop messing with them hood rats, you'll be all right. All right, because they're gonna bring about your demise.
Yeah.
They can now get you a queen. You dig what I'm saying? So when I married Shantae, I married a queen. So very good woman, very wholesome girl. But I mean, a legal stick-up artist taking my check. You dig what I'm saying? Strong arm robbery. But outside of that, a really good woman outside of that.
But you was broke when she was taking your check. So at what point did it start to shift from I'm broke, I'm got this, the screenplay stuff going on, I'm trying to make it, to like when did you start really building your wealth?
So that's what happened. So this young man came to the play. So we did a play in 2016, and this young brother came by my house and he said, "Man, did you write that?" His name is Glenn. He said, "Did you write that play?" I said, "Uh-huh." He said, "Did you train all those actors?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, I was in stitches." He said, "Man, you guys, y'all geniuses, man." I said, "Well, that's a nice thing to say." He said, "Man, you should be rich." I said, "Hallelujah." I said, "Bro, you talking my language now, partner." Did you say rich with a capital R? I say, "Talk to me, baby. What you got in mind?" He said, "I can show you how to do some real estate with no money down." I say, "Good, because I ain't got no money." I said, "How am I going to do that?" He said, "I'm going to show you how to take 2 papers, and then you go and you can buy a property with this paper, and you can sell it with that one." I say, "Word up, let's go." So that was the only meeting we ever had. We never had 2. We only had 1 meeting. That probably might have took about an hour or 2. So I did exactly what he said. I went out and found a property, and I bought it and sold it with no money and made $13,000.
Short sale.
No, it's called wholesaling. Is what it's called.
Wholesaling. Okay.
So I got the property up under contract. I went and I saw it. I said, "How much you want for this?" They said, "We want $22,000. I said, "I give you 18. Talking with authority too. I ain't got $1. I'm gonna give you 18. I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna give you $18,000 from somebody else. I'm speaking that thing. Why? Because I was living from my future. I already saw the person in my head who's gonna give me the money.
Yeah.
All right. I already saw that stuff. So, and nobody was interrupting. Nobody can interrupt you. If the audience ain't getting nothing else today, think from your future.
Where'd you learn that from?
Jesus.
Was there a moment in time where you first started practicing that?
I can't tell you. I don't know when it kicked in, but I just really believe the Bible. In the Bible,
what part of the Bible tells you to live from your future?
Well, the whole idea of the Bible is that faith is the substance of things hoped for.
Okay.
The evidence of things that's not seen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So by faith, the elders obtained a good report. Through faith, the worlds were framed by the word of God, so the things which are seen were not made, things which are seen were made of things which are not seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always known that what you can't see is what's real. I've always known that just from that one Bible passage, and I just really believe it. I just believe the difference between people kicking butt and taking names is, do you believe it? I really think it's just that simple. That's why I love the Bible. It's real simple.
So is it that simple for you, or did you have to go through this period where you're doing declarations every single day?
No, I didn't have to do that. See, because the thing about living from your future, and by the way, this really became a lot more apparent to me just recently, because there's a really good book called 10X is Easier Than 2X.
Yep, I read it.
Really good.
It's a good book.
It's a really good book. But I met Dr. Benjamin Hardy because we spoke on the same stage recently, a few months ago down in Tampa Bay, Florida, with my good friend Myron Golden, who's my #1 mentor.
Yeah.
So we was on this, we all spoke together, so I got to meet him, And in fact, I was the guy on the front row that kept saying, "My man," every time I said something to him, he say, I say, "Man, say it like you mean it." He'd look over and say, "My man." All right, because I was the guy giving the most dap. So I'm a major cheerleader. If you're doing something good, man, I do handstands. You know what I'm saying? You making it rain like a hurricane, man, I'm down with you like 4 flat tires. You know what I'm saying? And what I can't stand haters. I'm like, man, that's why I think from my future, because the haters ain't invited.
Okay.
That's why I have so much fun. Like we having all this fun. Ain't no haters up in here. You know what I'm saying? No hatred up in here. Ain't nothing but the spirit of peace, joy, freedom. Because the devil ain't omnipresent. He only come where he invited. So he ain't invited here. So I don't know where he at, but he ain't up in there. Right? People need to understand that. They be thinking, what, he automatically everywhere. I'm like, no, he ain't.
Mm-hmm.
All right? No, he got to get an invitation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he ain't invited here. So I was sitting in the house, and he told me what to do. I went and did a deal. And then I went and found a church and sold it, made $10,000. Then I went and found another house and bought it for $20,000 and sold $10,000 and sold it for $45,000 in 2 days.
Mm.
You know, and then I went and did deal after deal after deal after deal. Started making consistent six figures. First thing I did was I took two of my actors and my daughter to Muhammad Ali's funerals. First thing I did when I got that $13,000.
Oh wow!
First thing I did. Yeah. So I want to go see something spectacular. And they was like, because I take them out the hood, get them out the hood. They don't never see them, you know. So because the cats that play my sons in the play, I always get cats from the hood. I never get cats from the suburbs. I always get cats because I'm from the hood.
Mm-hmm.
So I always get cats who I know ain't never been nowhere, never seen nothing, never done nothing. Because I know they physically got to get away from what they used to seeing.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yeah, they physically. You can't stay in the same physical location and your mindset expand. It's impossible. Mm-hmm. You got to literally move your butt. Mm-hmm. All right, get your body away from looking at glass and dirt and grime and dead bodies and whatever. You dig what I'm saying? You got to get up out of that stuff. You know, you got to get up off that thing.
Seriously.
And dance, and you feel better. So I took them to Muhammad Ali's funeral. We stood in line for 3 hours just to get the tickets. Mm. Now, imagine, would you like your life to be so memorable? Brother John, you can say amen from the background. Would you like, I know I would like my life to be so memorable to people standing in line for 3 hours just to come to the funeral.
Right.
You did. And it was peace in the funeral. Dudes was breakdancing in the funeral line, entertaining us and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We got all the way to the front to get the tickets. All the way. We the very next people to walk up. And they say, sorry.
No.
Tickets are sold out.
No.
After 3 hours.
No.
Wasn't no big deal. Why? Because I live from what?
The future.
All right, so what did I see?
You already saw yourself there.
I saw scalpers, and they showed up. Hey, player, what's happening? I was like, what's up with you, bro?
Right.
Y'all look like y'all a little short on tickets. I said, that's precisely it. How'd you ever know? I don't know, man. I just hit a serve. I'm like, oh, is that real? You hit a serve, right? Well, can you serve us? What you need? I said, we need 5. 5 on row 6? I'm like, 5 on row 6, man. They sell it. They done been in line, I don't know, probably 2-3 times. I don't know. They got a pocket full of tickets, and they selling the tickets immediately because we was the very first person that could buy some tickets. And you think I complained?
Nope.
No, I was just happy about what? The fact that there was some ticket that we was going to be able to come back. That's not the day. That's 3 days before the funeral. So then we came back, and I said, I want y'all to remember this. I said, this is the closest you're going to ever see to a king being buried, probably your entire life. Wow. You'll probably never experience anything like this again.
Wow.
People from Japan, from every country in the world. The guy who preached the major preacher, the only one I remember, was from Israel. A white guy with a little beanie hat on. I don't remember what nobody else said that day except him because he was preaching like he was from 43rd. He's like in the building building these prisons right now based on a 3rd grade reading aptitude of black men. It's a shame. I was like, preach, bro. What is the beanie dude's name? The beanie dude was throwing down. You hear me? I remember what nobody else said except the beanie dude. I don't even remember what the black dude said. All right? And, we had Muhammad Ali's funeral and a beanie dude. Still a show. You hear me? Yeah. So that's how that started. So that's how I started making money. And that's how I started making at least $100,000 a year. And it was a totally different life. You know, from being broke, from being homeless, from being arguing with Shantae all the time. Because it was hard. That was a hard relationship.
Everybody that I know that's got like a rags to riches story, like they went through this period where like they were struggling to manage the wealth, to hold the wealth. And there was like this whole psychological like conditioning, like they weren't worthy of it. They didn't know how to hold it. Did you go through a period like that, or was it just up from none?
No, sir. I felt like I was worth every dime. I was trying to get as much as I could. I still do. Wake up every day saying, how do I become worth more? Why? You know, because I think that disconnection, and my next book that I'm writing, it's called Humble Aggression.
Humble Aggression.
That's the book that I'm writing right now.
I like that.
And the reason I'm writing it is because of what the question you just got through asking. People feeling unworthy of ambition. I'm like,
well, it's not. It's like there's an unworthy of like wealth. Like I don't deserve money, but then there's like when it comes to ambition, there's like a I don't want to get ahead of God type of mentality.
oh, it's so wrong.
Okay.
Who gonna get ahead of God? Man, God is what the Bible say. I have not seen, ye have not heard, neither has it even entered into the heart of man the good things that God's prepared for mankind, but He has revealed it to us through His Spirit. And then in Isaiah, can we go to interstate to I-40 for a second?
Yes,
Isaiah,
yes, we
Isaiah chapter 40.
Yep.
Okay, interstate. I mean chapter 28, verse number 40.
Okay.
He says, "Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard that the everlasting God, the Creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no what? Searching of His understanding, and His ways are past finding out. There's no such thing as being more ambitious than God. No such thing. So the whole idea of timidity disguised as humility is an atrocious misconception that have people underachieving on a consistent basis, and it's the devil himself that introduced the idea, into our minds that be humble, don't want much. Watch it now, you're getting too big for your britches. Careful, all right. His name is S to the A to the T to the A to the N. Okay? That mess ain't come from God. Are you hearing me? Why? Because God gives what? Lofty, large, big, gigantic edits. His charge is always large. You think about in the garden, he told Adam and Eve, he said, listen, you can have every tree in the garden. Every tree. Just leave that one alone. Is that a large commandment or a scarce one?
Large.
Large commandment. The devil come along and say, hey, you're a little over it. You're a little over it. Don't be so ambitious, okay? Why you want to mess around with all that stuff? Just focus on that little thing. All right? Baby girl.
Come on.
Focus on that little. Look like you're focusing on it anyway. See, so he came because he was invited. Why? Because when you look in your future and you see small stuff, the devil show up. And she looking at what? One thing. She got all this stuff. God ain't tell her. He said, focus on, be ambitious, girl. All right, brother, sister, be ambitious. You got the whole garden to work with. All right? Okay, just don't mess around with that little stuff. Okay? So this whole idea, I think your question was a really good question.
Yeah.
And in my belief system is that I can't get ambitious enough. I'm like, Lord, wake my unambitious butt up. You say, Ricky, you make $1 million in a day. Pray for me. I'm working on it. All right? Yes, my best day over the last year has been $1 million. That's so sad. I need to do better. Okay? I got more in me. All right? We're looking at future some more. 10 million a day. See, now everybody else that look like a fiendish grin. Why? Because you've been taught all that country nonsense. You know what I'm saying? All that country bunk and stuff ain't got nothing to do with the Bible and stuff. You dig? All that country goofy fool. That preacher's still wearing spats. You know what I'm saying? He's still wearing still wearing them shoes with the little 2 things in them. Stop listening to him. All right?
Why?
Because he's unambitious and he country. I don't mean country like he lived in Mississippi. I mean country like slow. And he used the Bible to do what? Slow you down too. Why? Because they like, what? They make you think you're going to hell because you're ambitious. I'm like, I'd have been stuck up since I was 4 years old. First time I got robbed, I was 4. All right, I've been tied up in my crib with duct tape. Ain't nobody rich ever stuck me up. Every single time it was always a broke dude.
It was.
All right?
It was.
And every time it got worse, they was broke up. All right? Every time I got closer to being dead, it was somebody who was what? Broken in the last cat. And they missed me with that. All right? That stuff ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. It's totally, Jesus is amazingly ambitious. Jesus so ambitious. He said, man, please. He said, he's so ambitious until he's so aggressive, so humbly aggressive, until before he can leave on the day of his death, he saved 1 more cat on the way out the door. How aggressive can you think he would have said? Let me see. We fed 5,000. Okay, 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Let me put that in. All right, That's pretty good. All right. Let me see. Walked on water. Oh yeah. Nobody can match that. All right. Oh, wait. Hold it. The dude with the demons, you know, he had 2,000 demons, and his name was Legion. And when we met him, you know, cast him into the swine. You dig what I'm saying? And the swine went and drowned in the ocean and everything. See, that's how you know Jesus was a brother too. By the way, while we on this subject, okay?
Okay.
There's 3 ways you know that Jesus was a brother.
Okay.
First way that you know that Jesus was a brother was that the first thing he did was when he took the pigs, he cast them into the swine, and the swine drew, and the swine went into the ground and gave up their own life. Because you know, brothers, we don't mess with no swine. Y'all better laugh, man.
So that's number one.
That's a really fake joke. You dig what I'm saying? And then another reason you know Jesus was brother, because when they looked out on the sea, he was walking on water. Those brothers don't swim. I'm just acting. So let's get back to the point. All right, so I took my wife to Puerto Rico for her birthday last year, and so we was out in this boat. And she swam like a fish, right? So she swims over to this big, tall rock. 2 of her friends, most sisters, they like, we gonna jump off the rock. I'm like, they crazy as hell. I'm like, praise the Lord. Go ahead. She said, you coming, baby? I'm like, girl, you know I can't swim. You trying to be funny? I'm a fake swimmer. I swim like real good in the pool from 5 feet to like 3 feet today for a few minutes. Girl, I can't swim for real. I said, you know how to swim. She dived off that rock too last year on her birthday in Puerto Rico. The biggest out of all of this, and then I know you can keep asking me questions, but out of all of everything that's going on, the biggest joy I got is the fact that Shantae is the first millionaire I created.
Really?
My wife.
Your wife?
She's the first millionaire I created.
Wow. She's
the first person to get $1 million check through my system, getting your money back from the bank.
Oh wow!
The first one. And
when did that start coming into the picture? Because I know we haven't got into a lot of the trust and how to get your money back from the bank and make 1 to 10 times your money back and that type of thing. So like, when did that start coming into the picture in this whole real estate journey you were on?
So that was in 2016 we started making this money. So in 2019, I said, man. The IRS every time I started buying or selling, I started having this stepsister that would come up and ask for 1/3 of my money. Mm-hmm. You know, her name is Iris. So she shows up, and I'm like, what gives you a right to get 1/3 of my money? And you wasn't around when I was, doing no house deal.
Right.
I mean, you got like nothing to do with nothing. I'm like, who are you?
Right.
Okay, what can you some type of government entity or something? I'm like, you a gangster. I'm like, this ain't right. Okay, this is not right. Okay, can everybody say it together? This ain't right. That ain't right. Okay, so I'm like, hey, right, Kayla? This ain't right. I'm like, so why that's some gangster mess? What kind of cartel is this? So I again, I started thinking for my future. I see a future of being tax-free. I see a future of only paying taxes if I want to. I see a future of understanding the system. I saw that in my head again from the future without knowing how it was going to happen. So the most important thing is seeing from the future, not knowing how something is going to happen.
Just you don't have no like dedicated time you be doing that. You just be like always in the future. No, it's all the time.
And see, this is the thought process of God with a man or a woman who meditates on the Word day and night. Mm-hmm. So meditating the Word day and night don't mean meditating the Word day and night means it's under your subconscious mind because I study the Bible every day. Mm-hmm. And I don't eat just like we eat. If I don't eat no regular food without eating the Bible food, I'd be crazy, man. I'm from the streets, man. I need help. Mm-hmm. Okay, my mind ain't right. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. On its own, left to its own, I'm gonna pimp slap somebody. All right, somebody gonna get all 5 fingers. You dig what I'm saying? People be talking crazy, trying to act nickel slick, especially once you start making this kind of money and you dealing with folks in the business world and stuff. People be lying their butt off. Stevie Wonder, little brother and sister, lying wonders. You know what I'm saying? They'll say anything to you. You know how it is. You've been in business. People tell you like a 2-story house. They tell you one story, and then when you get there, it's a whole nother story. Yep. People, you have to go through that foolishness, but you have to keep your mind regulated.
Mm-hmm.
So if you study the word on a regular basis, and I did say study, not read, but study. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, I'm taking a shower, I quote the whole first 12 chapters of Hebrews from heart. I'm thinking, wow, that's just my ritual. I'm getting up, taking a shower, and I say, God, who in sundry times and divers manners spake in time past to the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken as by his Son, whom he appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high, being made so much better than the angels, as he had my inheritance, obtained a much more excellent name than they, from the which an angel said at any time, thou art my son, and day have I begotten thee. And again I should be to my father, and he should be to me a son. And again, when he bringeth the first begotten into the world, he saith, and let the angels of God worship him. And of the angels, he said, who maketh the angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. But unto the Son, he said, thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. Now, that's just my regular routine.
Why that scripture?
Well, whatever I'm doing, I just keep doing it. I've been doing that for like a year or two. I memorized the whole 119th Psalm. It don't matter, just jump in anyway. Water's good. All right?
Right.
Just keep doing the same ones.
Keep doing, yeah.
Yeah, see, people read books and then they read 8 books. I'm like, no, I read one book 8 times. That's what meditation is. Meditation is that, you get it in you, it gets into your unconscious mind.
Yeah.
So, and you carry a cannon to a gunfight. That's why can't nobody fade me. I don't care who they are, what they talking about. I'm like, bro, you can come get some smoke if you want. I'm fighting with a bazooka, and you got a toothpick. It ain't gonna work out good for you. All right, so you can do what you want to do, but if I was you, I would concede before we even get started. But come on, let's go through the rituals. And all the business dealers and all that, dealing with folk and stuff. We know we don't want to fight over it before we even get started, because that word is so powerful. That word is powerful than what? A two-edged sword. Piercing to the divine, the son of the soul and spirit, gets down into the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intent of the heart. So, I went to this meeting that my brother called me because of the way I was thinking and said, we got a brother that do trust, Rick. I'm like, trust? He's like, yeah, tax-free ones. I was like, where? he said, we're going to be meeting. I was like, man, that's a meeting I ain't going to miss. I said, where? He said, we're going to have it in Chicago. I said, at the crib? He's like, yeah. He said, it's going to be at a private club on the lake downtown in Chicago on Lake Michigan. I said, let's go. So I called a bunch of young brothers who I be training and stuff, because everything I do, I'm always looking for you. So if they tell me about it, I'm going to tell you about it. So I called some of my young brothers, including the young brother that taught me real estate. All right, him and some other young man that I was kind of mentoring. So we went on down, and we get up on the 98th floor, and this guy named Cedric Brown gets up and starts spitting it. He starts talking about these different kind of trusts. One particular one was a spendthrift trust, and how it was tax-free, and you could put your money in, can't nobody sue you, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just mesmerized. I'm like, this is it. Make no mistake where we are. This is it. Felt like the Doobie Brothers up in this speech. I'm like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for right here. So when he got through talking, I said, hey, Cedric, oh, that was great, man. I said, now, if you interview people like this and like that, you can make a lot of money online. Immediately, I started becoming the what? Not the primary, but the what?
Secondary.
Secondary who? Beneficiary. Instinctively.
Got you.
Because that's what the Bible teaches you. And it's instincts. You don't meet people trying to get them to give you nothing.
Right.
All right? You just automatically so I automatically started teaching him some stuff I knew would help him get a better following. So he felt compelled, to do something for me. So I said, by the way, not trying to get him to do nothing for me. I said, by the way, who living like this? All right? I said, because I'm like, man, I'm down. I said, yeah, any like testimonials? So he's like, yeah, how about Tim Brown? And I say, Tim Brown? I say, the football player? He's like, yeah. I say, from the Oakland Raiders? He's like, huh? I say, the Hall of Famer? He's like, yeah. I said, how am I going to meet him? He said, want to talk to him now? I said, what? I said, talk. You got him in your phone? He's like, yeah. I said, you joking? He pulled the phone. He said, hold on. I said, all right, go ahead. Hello? Yeah, hey, Tim, how you doing? I'm like, he definitely fronting. I'm not talking to Tim Brown, right? He's like, yeah, Tim, how's, yeah. He said, yeah, I'm at the trust meeting here in Chicago. He said, yeah, don't you meet this brother named Rick? Oh, yeah, hold on. Ricky and Tim want to talk to you. I said, what favor? I said, boy, let's go. I said, hello? How you doing? Yeah, Mr. Brown, how are you? Yeah, Rick, Cedric told me all about you. I'm like, I don't know what he told you about me, but praise God. I'm like, hey, is it any way you and I can talk about this private trust thing? You know, the way that you living and stuff. You know, he said, yeah, Rick, I don't buy a hamburger unless I buy it out that trust. I say, talk to me. I said, well, can we have a meeting about this or something? He said, yeah, sure. I said, we can? He said, yeah. I said, well, when you gonna be in Indiana anytime soon? He said, I'm gonna be at the U.S. Open, the golf tournament, the senior U.S. Open. I said, all that money? He's like, I'm sorry, sir. The golf open? he said, yeah, I'm gonna be there. I said, when? So he told me when. And I said, where's it gonna be? He said, at the University of Notre Dame. I said, well, you went to college yet? He's like, yeah. He said, me and Jerome Bettis, we both the honorary the chair people. I said, that's phenomenal. I said, well, can I meet you there? He said, I said, can I interview you? He said, yes. So he met me there. And I interviewed him. It's on my YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. All right. He and I talking. And as you can see, he did the foreword for my book. Mm-hmm. Is that favor? Is that favor?
That's favor.
Is that living from your future?
That is.
That's living from your future.
That is.
Everything I saw in my head, it came to pass. And I saw myself learning about how to get control over my assets instead of owning my assets. I read enough to know that I needed to have things under control and not ownership. So that's why I wrote my book, Control Everything, Own Nothing. And Tim did the foreword for me.
What's the difference between control and ownership?
No, we got this dance. All right. I don't know if it's appropriate right now. I don't know if
it's appropriate.
It's called the circulator.
Okay.
All right, because when we put our money in the bank account, that's why my wife got $1 million. It went to the bank and had to come back to it with no investment. It's just a law. All right. So you stirred me up when you asked me that. All right. Because the circulator go like this: 1, 2, 3, bam, and then you go back 1, 2, 3, bam. But it goes to the music of the percolator, right? So it's time for the circulator. It's time for the circulator. It's time for the circulator. Say what? So I'm sorry, man. You got me circulating over here. What's the question again?
What's the difference between owning and controlling?
All right. So owning things means that you own a liability.
Okay. So
we've been taught all our life, and that's the way poor people behave. Poor people think owning a house is a win all, you know. And I'm like, man, a house is someplace to live. All right. You know, first of all, it's the biggest pimping game in the world. Why? It's the only place in the world where you get a loan, you got to pay 3 times the money back. What you want, a cookie? All right, you signed up for something. Somebody say, congratulations to you. You just won. You just got. You just qualified to give us 3 times the amount of money you borrowed. It's the only thing in the world is amortized interest. So that game? That ain't nothing but game. So you feel good about it too.
Right.
So you buy this house and you feel like you own it. Well, I'm like, the first problem with you buying this house is that you signed it, but the bank didn't sign it. So you got a mortgage?
I don't.
You don't have a mortgage?
I have one.
Oh, you had a mortgage. You ever read it?
All
500 pages?
No, I read it enough to sign the bottom. Like, I was like, cool.
Because they had 600 pages.
Yeah.
So they wore you out before you got started.
Yep.
That's the way you win a fight. Wear somebody out before they get started. They can't win a fight they didn't never get in.
Come on.
So they so smooth with this until your mortgage, first of all, is a fraud because it's not legal. Because in order for a contract to be legal, there has to be consideration, meaning that there has to be 2 signatures. No, a bank never signs a signature on a mortgage because they didn't loan you the money. So you say, what do you mean then? So when you go in and get a mortgage loan from the bank, what happens is that the bank says, "Can I have your social security number?" So you like, of course. And what you should tell them is that ain't my social security number, that's yours. That's what you should tell them, but you ain't educated, so not you.
Come on, man, I'm good.
I'm talking about our audience.
I'm good. You know I'm good. You know I'm good. You can talk to me, bro. I gave my social, my address, my mama maiden name, My daddy, real name
Come on.
is the government. They don't let nobody else call him. Come
See,
on.
the bank works with the highest frame. You remember you and I were talking before we started?
Yeah.
We said when we look out the window, we both see different things.
Right.
Because of
Well,
the
let me
frame.
contextualize that statement for the audience because we were talking about, what were we talking about? Was it, I think it was this trust or making your money back or something like that. And I said, oh no, I was talking about how I said I need to read your book again. That's what we talked about. So I was like, I need to read your book again because the first time I read it as a skeptic. I read it like, oh man, this brother's gonna get me locked up and don't let me out. Right? like my man over here talking about you ain't gotta pay taxes. I'm like, nah, man, I ain't smart enough for that. They gonna lock me up so quick. I'm gonna be like, hey, Rick told me I ain't gotta pay taxes. They gonna say, he told you that? Come on. You have the right to remain silent, right? Like, so that's like, and legit, and then it wasn't. That's what threw me off. It's because everything about you I trusted. But everything about what you were saying, I was skeptical of, because it was just like, nah, man, you have to do this. Like, if you doing that, you somehow like, you're scheming, you're scamming, right? And so I said, I need to read it again. And then that's when you say, oh, okay, so you're explaining a paradigm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So, very good points. But the reason that you are automatically skeptical about how real money is made is because you've accepted so readily how fake money is made. Okay? So, and because you have been framed. You say, what do you mean framed? I mean, the bank has framed you. The bank has, everybody should get this book, Pitch Anything, by Orrin Clapp. Orrin Clapp teaches about framing. Okay? So he talks about how a frame is the way you see something based on, like you just got through saying, your point of reference, your perspective, or your paradigm. So the bank makes sure that the way you see them when you walk in, as they are an authority, they are a privileged authority.
Right.
A privilege for you to be able to give them your money. Which means that they're the biggest pimps in the world. All right? You say, why is that? Because a whore feels privileged to get a pimp her money. Okay? So feeding the bank is economic whoredom. All right?
Okay.
Because when we walk in, we don't question them. They question us. All right? Y'all, at least, I know better. So I'm talking to y'all with the camera. I'm talking to y'all, all right? So what does that mean? That means that the way that a person can get you to agree to make them wealthy at your expense is you have to feel like it's a privilege to do so. And like you really didn't have any other recourse. How do you make a prostitute? Number one, you scare them. And then number two, you drug them. So once they are afraid and on dope, they'll sell their body and give you the money. That's how prostitution goes. Ain't no prostitutes, ain't no sober, courageous prostitute gonna give their body up and give you the money. Ain't gonna happen. They go, because they're gonna think of it. They're gonna rethink that thing. They're gonna say, yeah, I'm the one doing this degrading work. Okay? I'm the one dealing with all these chances of catching a disease, getting stuck up, beat down, left in a corner someplace. And then I'm giving this money to this guy. See, and I changed my mind.
Right.
What I'm going to do is if I'm going to keep doing this degrading stuff, I'm just going to keep the money. See, because she ain't high and because she ain't afraid. So now she can think.
Okay.
All right? So the reason that anybody that finds out about this real life that we live in and that's available to everybody, the reason that they go into the bank and quite readily just agree is because of the word abacination. All right? And one of the books that I recommend everybody get is Black's Law Dictionary, the 11th edition, so that you can learn terms. Okay? So what is abacination? When soldiers in the early days of the Roman Empire, soldiers, or not just the Roman Empire, but in the medieval days, when people would take over kingdoms, they would take the soldiers and they would put their eyes out. They didn't kill them; they just put their eyes out. So, what do you think? People just hideous like that? Why do you think they just didn't kill a soldier?
It was more torture.
Economic reasons.
Oh, because you can use them still. You can get them to do physical labor.
Slaves.
Yep.
All right. So in order for you to have a slave, they have to be blind. So the reason it's hard for you to believe something is because you've been bassineted. All right. So when you think about the IRS and the codes, and when you think about the bank and their rules, you don't know nothing about it.
Yep.
Because it's not what? Disclosed. Why? Because they use the moral authority frame. So when you walk into the bank, the moral authority frame is who asks the questions? The bank, right? Right. All right. And who provides all information?
Me.
You. Right. Okay. Why? Because you've been bassineted. If they started telling you, has it ever dawned on you? Hey, I'm putting money in here. Can I at least ask one question? Can I just get one in right quick?
Right. Please. Please.
What y'all doing with it? That seemed like the number one. Who in their right mind? I just want you to see how crazy the think it is. Who as an investor would possibly take some money and give it to another person and invest in their company and don't inquire what you're going to do with it? Is that delirium? But it happens, the bank's so cold until you don't even come in no more. People in such agreement with the idea you do whatever you want to do with my money until most people money is what?
Gone.
How do we get in the bank?
We put it in there.
I mean, do you even go?
No.
It's called what?
Direct deposit.
Direct deposit. If that ain't pimping, I don't know what it is. Is that pimping, John? Where my brother at? Is that pimp? Is that Don Juan? It'll be a pimp cup on every bank with diamonds on it. And everybody behind the counter should have a perm and some gold teeth. Welcome to Pimping Ain't Easy. Step on up. Y'all, you ever wonder why they got them suckers on the counter? Now you know why they got them suckers on the counter, don't you? How many licks do it take to get to a Tussie Roll center of a Tussie Pop? One. All right. Why? Because you ain't asking them no questions. You ain't ask them. Okay, so why when I got this loan you didn't sign it? Why? Because you didn't even know it. 99% of the people listening to us right now, they gonna go read their mortgage now, and they gonna realize that the bank didn't sign it. Why? You say, why didn't they sign it? Because they couldn't. The reason they couldn't sign it because the money didn't come from the bank. It's illegal for them to loan you the money. Why? Because they ain't got no money. The bank runs off of credit from the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve gives the bank a credit on your behalf because you gave them your Social Security number. So you the one that created you created the money with your social. The money wasn't obtained from the bank. All right. So that's why that's why when we go into the bank and they ask us for our social, we like, okay, cool. We know what you own. All right. We know that you're finna use this and get a credit against us for every time we give you the Social Security number. We know that's what you're gonna do. So what we're gonna do is we come in with a tax-free EIN number, okay, attached to our trust. So when we make a bank deposit, they don't tax us. The tax-free EIN works on our behalf, and the trust is our entity. We don't own, we control. So the trust is what in control now, and not us. I mean, we're in control now, but the trust is the one, the entity that's blocking the taxation from happening because we got a tax-free EIN number. You know you got a tax-free EIN number if after the first two dashes you got a 6 or a 7. So when I meet people, they're like, I got one of them too, Rick. I say, no, you don't. I say your EIN is taxable. That's why they just smacked the stitching out of you. You know you just got through paying a warload of taxes on your last tax return. So don't act like you're on 63rd when you're on 43rd. Okay, just say I'm on 43rd Street, can't put cheese on a Whopper Lane. You know, not 6300 got it going on to the break of dawn. All right? Because the only person I can't help is somebody that act like they're on 63rd but they're on 43rd. You know, so that's humble ambition. I'm ambitious, but I'm humble enough to let somebody tell me what's going on, teach me what's happening, change my paradigm, unlearn what it is that I've learned, and then pick up what's going on, because this happens every day. We just got $1,042,000 tax refund from making from the way that we put our private money into our private trust, and the bank had to give us our bank deposits back. It's not, we ain't guessing about nothing. We got the money. All right. So it's not like, I don't like the way you said that. I need a little more confidence. All right. I need a little more aggression, a little bit more aggression, bro. All right.
I got you.
I'm catching up. You're in the future. I'm coming. Coming.
So that's how we operate now.
Man. So what I wrote down here, that's beautiful, by the way. This is interesting what came to me. I wrote down like there's 3 big ones, and you probably heard these over and over again. For me, it was like, number 1, is this possible? Number 2, if it's possible, it's going to be too difficult. Like, there's a knowledge gap, right? Can I figure it out? And then the third one is, well, now that I know there's a way, I know it's possible, I can figure it out. Can I afford it? Or is it like the rich get richer, the poor get poor?
So no. So you mean like how much does it cost to get a trust?
Well, yeah. Or do you need a certain amount of money to make it work? Do you? I can't remember our original conversation, but I remember there was something around like it wasn't like an immediate thing. And it's obviously got to go through like a year or something like that. It was like I didn't know if you need enough money to make enough money out. I didn't know the rules around.
So we have a year-long program to train a person for what to do. So I have programs that cost $55,000. I have inner circle programs that cost $150 and up. But this is what I teach people about money. Always pay somebody what you're worth, so they can give you what you deserve. So you say, what do you mean by that? People say, because whenever you don't hear people talk like that, because they don't think from their future. All right. So the way that they think is, I'm gonna pay somebody what the person is worth. I'm like, I never pay people what they're worth. Every time I pay somebody, they better be way worth more. They better be worth way more than what I gave them. You hear me?
Right.
So anytime somebody pay me,
right,
they always paying me what they're worth.
Right.
All right. Not what I'm worth.
Yep. How they see themselves, how they believe in themselves, how they invest in themselves. Yes. Yep.
So that's the way I spent $1 million over the last year alone, just on training on how to on communication with my good friend Myron Golden, Les Brown. I've been in about 4 or 5 programs. Ted, what's Ted's last name? McGrath. Ted, I think his last name is McGrath, who does online marketing. And Brendan Kane was my last class I just took. I paid $30,000 for his class, and he taught me how to make viral reels. And so I went from having reels with 8,000 people watching to reels with 2.3 million people watching, because I had a little tip I gave them. It was $30,000. I made that money back in 6 seconds.
Right.
So what's my point? My point is that when you get out with me, I'm like Reverend Ike, baby. You can't lose the stuff I use. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you give me some money, you bless yourself. You didn't bless me. You say, come on, Brother Rick, if that's the case, dude, just let me in for free. I tell people this all the time. Like, look, I don't need your money, but you need to give it to me.
Why?
Why? Because you ain't going to get your money back from the bank. That's why. You keep putting your money in the bank. Just think about it.
Right.
How much money are you going to make this year? That's what I tell everybody. How much are you going to make this year? So you can make $100,000? All right. So you do the things I'm teaching you to do, and you get $100,000 back. All right. Or don't do what I'm doing and just give your $100,000 away. See, the thing about the bank when you go into the bank is that they don't disclose nothing. They tell you, we ain't charging you nothing. In fact, we'll even give you some interest. Oh, they're charging you, though, because every time you make a deposit into a bank, they get 10 times your deposit. Every time. That's called fractional reserve banking. So they get credit for 10 times what you put in. So those are facts.
Right.
So undeniable facts. That's why I got one video that people then watched 2 years worth of time on. It only took 60 seconds to make when I told them there's 3 things about the banking system that you probably don't know. All right. Number 1 is every time you put some money in it, they get 10 times what you put in. Number 2, they file a form saying you don't want your money back. And number 3, you could file a form saying you do. All right. And how do I know? Because we did. All right. So all money that people pay me ain't nothing but a tip, because the money it's always the payoff, not the payment. Everybody that's broke is always concerned about the payment. Everybody that's rich, we're always concerned about the payoff. You know. So I don't even try to convince people who are concerned about the payment. I just make my prices so high that they leave me alone. I ain't trying to convince them to do nothing. Listen, selling is not trying to convince somebody to do something for your reasons. Selling is persuading somebody to do something that they want to do anyway for their own reasons. So you give the person permission to do what they want to do.
Right.
So that goes both ways, right? Because somebody that wants to actually do business with you, you give them permission to, right? And if they don't want to do business with you, you do what?
Don't give them permission.
No, you give them permission not to.
Oh, give them permission not to. Yeah.
See, this is where thirsty people don't understand that.
Right.
I'm not thirsty because I live for my future.
Right.
All I see is wells of water in my future.
Right.
All right?
Right.
Ain't no thirstiness over here. You know what I'm saying? You ever watch that movie King's Ransom?
No.
With Anthony, what's the dude that played on Blackish? What's his last name?
I don't watch a lot of television.
Okay, Anthony, what's the comedian dude? He's a comedian dude. He played Two Can Play This Game. Anthony, kind of funny.
You
dude.
said I probably won't even know it.
Okay, so anyway, this movie called King's Ransom, right? So in the movie, I'm talking to you about this needy spirit, this thirsty spirit people have in the marketplace. Yep. So in this movie, everybody want to kidnap him because he's an arrogant dude. His last name is King in the movie. So they want to kidnap him so they get a king's ransom. All right, so it's a comedy. It's funny too.
Yeah.
And so in the middle of the movie, it's this young guy who's working at a hot dog stand, and he's he's standing out there to eat a hot dog every day, right? So he get fired like I did from the warehouse. He did. So they fired a little dude, and now he's in a dilemma. He's trying to figure out, man, I need some money. So he gets everything he can. He take it to the pawn shop. So he gets to the pawn shop, and it's a little Chinese lady at the pawn shop. I just look, this really funny girl. She's a comedian too. So I know they got the perfect people in this movie. She hilarious, right? So he walks up to her. She said, how can I help you? He said, I just want to pawn this. She said, all of that? He said, yeah. How much can I get for all of this? She said, let me see, $200. He said, $200? He said, for all of this? He said, come on, I'm desperate here. She said, oh, you're desperate, huh? He said, yeah. She said, $100. He said, what? He said, no, you just said 200. She says, no, I didn't. 100. So she did what? Lowered the price. Why? Because he was what?
Desperate.
Thirsty. So I don't know. Only discount people get from me, I'm like, you can diss what I'm telling you. You ain't going to count the money. All right, I ain't got no discounts. All right, that's the only one you get. So if you, so I don't mess around with nothing.
How do you deal with that? Because I went through several iterations of raising my prices, and every time it took me so long. So long. Like even now, it's happening. My coach been telling me for like 6 months, you should raise your price. You should raise it right. And I've been like, but I don't want to like feel like I'm like cutting out people who really need help.
Whoa! Can I jump in? Right? Did he just turn a double dutch, bud? Can I jump in right there, Brother John? You got any more water? I want to jump in there. Can I jump in right there? I need to jump in right. You're just gonna turn a double dutch bus like that. Is that water?
Yeah.
Okay, I want some cold though.
Okay.
If you make it cold. All right. So, the needy. I don't want to turn out to people that's needy. Don't mess with nobody that's needy. Why? People are needy for a reason. Okay? The reason, look, I come from the joint, homeless. I ain't never been needy. All right? Never had a needy spirit. I never said, man, I need a place to live. It never came out of my mouth. All right? I said, I want a place to live. And God, I know you already got it. Okay? So the only people you should be doing business with is people who want something. Your prices should preclude people who need something. Why? Because the reason they needy is because they trick their time off. If you follow them around for a week and saw what they did with their time, you raise all your prices. You be like, this what this dude do, this what this chick do. What the way they blowing their time like that. They got the audacity to be talking to me about money. I'm like, it's a direct correlation, baby.
Wow.
So like people, when they say, man, can I borrow some money from Rick? I say, show me your schedule from last week.
Wow.
They say, huh? They say, that's kind of personal, bro. I say, my money kind of personal. All right. How dare you? Thank you, Brother John. Appreciate you. So it is, you asking for some money, that's personal.
Right.
So how all of a sudden how's that impersonal, but your business is personal?
Right.
Because you think you a pimp. That's why. Ain't no hoes over here. You got me twisted.
Oh my God.
That's how you raise your price. You raise your prices because it's the right thing to do. And then you teach people, listen, the reason my prices are what they are is so I can teach you how to raise your standards. The reason you ain't got no money because you got low standards. Your standards of life are low. And you walk around all day long trying to figure out how to get the most out of people and pay the least. So you violating all God's principles, and God is pimp slapping the taste out of him now. All right? God ain't having that. Okay, God is not a man, he shall allow the son of man that he should repent. He said, I put my word above my name. You know, he says, so that what I say, be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. So you're going to reap what you sow, baby. You ain't going to reap what I sowed. I'm not sowing for you. You hear me? It's some people right now call themselves Rick the Wealth Coach online. Thieves. Just made up. You see how they be doing that stuff, John? Be making up pages and stuff? Yeah. So people be talking about, hey, Rick, did you just send me a DM? I'm like, never. Never. Send you a DM for what? I don't know you. You're like, oh, I just got one. I'm like, so what did it say? It said, look like he got a great crypto plan going on. I say, thieves. Thieves, bro. Don't G for it. One of my clients sent him $18,000. Sent somebody because she just thought it was me. Why? Because she trusts me so much. Why? Because I don't lie to nobody about nothing. Are you hearing me? Why? Because the truth is good enough. You dig what I'm saying? So you can pay the price or don't pay the price. Don't make me no difference. Listen, if you really want to be a rich person, love people so much until you don't care what they do. You mean it. See, I care about you so much until I don't care about what you do. I mean, I really don't. Are you hearing? So why is that important? Because if I cared about what you did, then that means that when you don't do what I said that I think you ought to do, that means that when you leave, I'm leaving with you. I mean, my mind is gone wherever you at. And so now, if you happen to be bipolar, it's two of us. So, how in the world you gonna be a rich man, a rich bipolar man?
So I'm gonna turn the plane so we can start landing it here a bit, man. Obviously, I could talk to you all day.
Yes, sir.
But you know, the thing. So we talked about it being, is it possible? It's too hard. Can't afford. There's also this undertone of like when you talk, it's like it sounds too good to be true. Speak to that.
Yeah, that's because when you've been making money so laboriously, and when you so Bible ignorant, all the Bible sound too good to be true. Why? Because it's will and ignorance. All right. So the Bible says, labor not to be rich. All right. So everybody that's laboring to be rich, when you tell them don't labor to be rich, they sound too good to be true.
How do you couple that with holy ambition, or what'd you call it? You said holy.
Yeah, labor not to be rich. Be rich, just don't labor. It didn't say don't be rich. It said just don't labor.
But labor and ambition is like the similar thing.
No.
Right? No.
Labor's for lazy people.
Okay, say more.
All right. So people work 55 hours and 60 hours because they're lazy.
Okay, say more.
All right. So you're saying, what do you mean by that?
Yes.
Come on, ask me what I mean.
What do you mean by that?
Come on, John, you gotta ask me too. Okay. So real work is thinking.
Okay.
All right. People avoid thinking like the plague. they're like, what you want me
That's crazy. That's so true.
You want me to think? Look at you
it's
like
so
you,
true.
Like
though.
they ready to get their pistol out. Say it again.
Think.
Get a pistol and a bandana ready to smack you upside the head. Thinking is the hardest work in the world, but it's the work that pays off. Labor don't pay. Why? Because thinking mean you created it. Thinking mean labor mean they created it. So when you labor to be rich, you can't get rich because you didn't create it. You just doing the thing that the Creator told you to do. So you are carrying out tasks instead of creating content. So you can't get paid for the content that's created because all you're doing is carrying out the task. So you ain't gonna never have no real money. I mean, unless you let it be 100, and unless the Lord bless us, go back to the old days, you're 930. Yeah, unless you get some of that Adam grace or something like that, you can save your way to being rich. Then you get some of that. But if you're gonna do it in this era, you're gonna have to get your lazy butt up and get to work. When I say lazy, I ain't talking about you lazy like you're a bad person, ain't got good morals. I'm talking about you lazy in that you've been lulled to sleep to think that the way money is made is about an hour, in that. So when it comes time for you to pay somebody for something, you real reluctant to pay for something because it took you forever to get that little money. So the only way you can get out of that is pay somebody that's got some real money, in order to make some money for real, so you can get out of your crazy way of thinking and learn how to think. Pay somebody that think who can teach you how to think, not think for you. It is.
Wow.
You're a thinker. You're a thinking man. That's why you make more money than the average person. But I speak into your life that you're going to be a millionaire and a multimillionaire because you're about to raise the stakes, the thinking stakes. All right. I speak into your life that you ain't going to be cheap. You're going to pay money. I'm just speaking into your life. All right. Since you got me down here on my vacation in the podcast, hollering at other people, that's how important you are, that you can stop me from doing what I'm doing because you're such a loving, kind, gentle, wonderful person. And that's why I'm over here talking, and John, your friend, and all of you all. That's why I just stopped doing what I'm doing in the middle of the day. Don't need no money. Make $1 million in a day, and then some chump change. It ain't no big deal. But, brother, you about to go to a whole nother level. I'm just telling you what's about to happen in your life. Why? Because I can see it in my future. I can see your future in mine. Because your attitude too good. I just got to warn everybody with a good attitude. You about to break them off a piece of that Kit Kat bone.
I received that.
It is so.
Man, you want to talk about your new book? Or want to talk about the latest book and the one coming out?
Yeah. So
tell us about this.
This book is Unmovable, Unstoppable, Unshakable.
Unshakable, Unstoppable.
And if everybody want to understand how we get that money back from the bank, just look at the last chapter. It's called Bartering with the Bank. All right, and it'll teach you how to put your money in and get your money back out. You can put some serious fat on your head. All right. Unmovable. And all my books are just look up Rick the Wealth Coach and just look me up online. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. On Facebook, I'm Stellar Wealth Management. And so if you just look at all of the links and everything are pinned at the top of those stations. So it's an easy book to find. And the reason I wrote it is because I'm like, Bible principles. That's why I'm rich. That's how I got rich, okay? And why I can't be nothing but rich. Why? Because I understand that once the principle is like your big brother, you know, and the principle just fights on your behalf. All you got to do is just get behind it. So it's like when I was about 11 years old, and before we get out of here, I was about 11 years old, and our group was singing. We had a little group. We were singing the Shy Lights. Have you seen it, right? Oh, I see your face everywhere I go on the streets and even at the picture show. Have you seen her? Tell me, have you seen her? So when it was over with, we had shaking hands, and we was used to winning the contest because we was cold. We could sing, we could dance, we could sing, all that. So when we got through singing, this next girl came up and she started dancing to Ohio Players Cut Fire. Fire, boom, 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 boom. Say what? So she jamming, right? She got a fro, you know, back in the 70s. She fine as frog, huh? We like, what the heck? We voted for her. We was like, give it to her. We didn't want enough awards. Fire, fire. So now we dancing, slow dancing, you know, back in the day, everybody, you know, so I don't know what they got on. Maybe it may have some Luther on or something like that. A chair, not a chair. So I'm dancing with this girl, you know. And all of a sudden somebody pushed me, you know, real hard in the back. So I turned around, and this dude named Sean is standing behind me. Sean is one of the neighborhood surrogate thugs, you dig? So I turned around, boom! Instinctively, right? Had to give him a two-piece at least with no ketchup. I'm like, this dude just gonna push me like that, front me in front of the girl. He said, hey, man. I ain't even the one that pushed you. I said, we shouldn't be so close. You had that coming, all right? So he was like, because he's a thug, you know. But I can box. I'm from the projects. I ain't no problem. I ain't got no problem with that. I'm like, let's scrap it up. So the party's over with. So we get outside, and Sean over here in the parking lot getting a nice selection of bricks. So I walk by like, yeah, Sean, yeah. He like, yeah. I'm like, oh no. Dude got some malice on his mind. So we get down to the parking, to the school lot on the way home, about a block away from home, in our school. In our school, they rehabilitating it, so it's bricks and all kind of stuff all over the place in the school lot. So Sean come running up with his boys like West Side Story, all right? I know I'm old. Y'all like, man, how old are you, Rick? West Side Story had to come out about 1946. Hey, stay with the story, all right? So that's an old flick. Look, Darryll don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. You're like, West Side Story. It's a gang movie from the 40s or something. When they actually used to fight with their hands and stuff, no pistols and stuff.
Thank you.
Just had to.
Just helping me out.
I saw you was a deer in the head.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I saw you trying to stay with me.
I was making a movie up in my head. I'm like, yeah, that's what it is.
So we got out in the middle of the parking lot, and he rolled up with his boys. I had 2 or 3 of my friends just walking home, you dig? So he rolled up and said, man, I told you I ain't push you. I said, yeah, that's old news. So what you want to do? You want to box or something? Yeah. I said, come on. So I went into my patent stance. I don't know where I got this from, but some reason or another.
Conditioning.
Yeah, some reason or another. When you put these up, boy, somebody finna get whooped. Like, so I'm like, what you got?
Piggy about to get
like,
bro.
What you get? What you get? What you get? So we started tussling a little bit. He don't want to fight, so he pulls out a conveyor belt. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, your daddy work for general for G or something. Like, where you get a conveyor belt from? Not no regular belt, a conveyor belt. So he started swinging at me, so I'm trying to elude him and stuff. And some kind of way I got it, snatched it away. I'm like, oh yeah, your butt is mine now. What you gonna do, boy? Then daddy, here he come out, one of them bricks. He went over there, looking for in the parking lot where he was. So he get the brick out. I'm like, oh no. So I'm trying to dodge him and stuff. So he throws the brick. So I'm like, eluded that. I'm like, boy, your butt is mine. I turn around. He done ran across the parking lot and got a 2x4. I say, feet don't fail me now. Took on up. So I take off out the parking lot with these platforms on, right? I got old platforms. Feet ain't even touching the ground, right? I make it through I'm getting it. So I make it all the way to the corner, and I'm on half a block away from the crib, and I just like slow down for just a second. As soon as I slow down, a bottle just missed me. This fool, he throwing bottles down. I'm like, what the hell? So I run in the crib. I get inside the house. My big brother Donnie inside there. I ran in. I'm talking real fast. He said, "What's wrong with you, boy?" I said, "Man, we was at the party, Donnie." I said, "This dude." I said, "Shine, man." I said, "This dude ain't right, man." He said, "What you talking about?" I said, "Man, we was at the party, man. We was singing and stuff, man. You know, we was jamming, man. You know, have you seen her?" We was getting down, man. You know what I'm saying? And then when we got through, man, you know, we was dancing with a girl, and I was getting down, man. We was just slow dancing stuff, man. He pushed me, man. So I wasn't having that, man. So I turned around, stole him. You know what I'm saying? Then he gonna stop me out there in the middle of the park and at the school. So we started tumbling a little bit, but he didn't want to tumble right, man. Then he pulled out a belt. Then he pulled out a brick. And then he tried to hit me with a 2x4. He just missed me with a bottle a little while ago, and he don't want to fight fair, man. And now he's sitting out there on the corner and right by the alley talking about, I better not come back outside. Then he said, what? He said, where's that punk at? He said, what's his name? I said, his name's Sean. He said, hold on, little Ricky. So he got outside. He got up, walked outside. I said, which one of you punks is Sean? He said, me. Then he said, bam! Stole on him, right? Hit him so hard he stumbled down the alley about 10 or 15 feet, got up and ran inside his house. I said, no doubt. Yeah. Donnie was what? He was principles. You dig? All you got to do is get behind the principle. Principle, be down. That's what that book is about. My book is the principles that guarantee you that you'll have money if you practice the principle, because the principle is stronger than your enemies, and all you got to do is just get behind the principle. So that's why it's called unmovable, unstoppable, unshakable Bible principles that guarantee you financial success.
Come on, man. Go get the book. If that ain't a promo, I don't know what is. Man, this is great, man. I hope you find one thing to take action. Grab the book. Grab both books. Follow Rick the Wealth Coach. Join the Financial IQ Challenge. You still calling it that?
At myfinancialiqchallenge.com. But that's on any place you see where I'm at. The challenge is there. Yes, sir. That's the best way to get in touch with us. That's how you learn what it is that we do. And I just want to tell you, brother, I'm going to tell you what I said when we first started, man. I got nothing but love for you, baby. Love you, man.
That's that song. Got nothing but love for you. That's that 5 heartbeats right there.
You the man.
You know about that.
No, you the man, man. You the man.
Appreciate you, man. Love you, brother.
Love you more.
Man.
Man, that was fire. Listen, I hope you took away a lot of notes, a lot of value. I hope you had a lot of laughter. I know I did, man. I told you, this man is the GOAT. Man, he is giving away more stuff on his social media for free than most coaches are charging $5, $10, $15, $25,000 for. So make sure you continue to learn from the well of wisdom that man is. And remember, one of the visions for this podcast was to go deeper with a few versus wider with many. And so I want to bring back some of the guests that you've seen multiple times, but I want to do it in a way that's the most valuable for you. So please send us some questions that if you were sitting across the table from Rick the Wealth Coach, you would love to ask him. I'm happy to speak on your behalf. I'm happy to have that conversation because I believe that information that is applicable is far more valuable than information that just puffs up our head and fills up our storage of knowledge. We have to find things that we can integrate into our everyday life. And that happens more effectively when you submit specific questions. So that's it. Stay tuned for our next episode. Go back, watch the other episodes, rewatch this one, and stay tuned as we continue to sow seeds of greatness into the world. Take care.